Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, we're taking a break from the busy Modern Horizons 2 season. That set has dominated every other non-rotating constructed format, but here we are playing some Pioneer at the request of Patreon subscriber Paper. So Paper has me playing Golos Ramp today, and I have not seen a red-green version of this deck before. I believe this is a Paper brainchild. The reason to be red, of course, being Cleansing Wildfire and its interaction with indestructible lands. So destroy target land, its controller may search the library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle and draw a card. So this was designed to be, destroy your opponent's Tron land, but they're not totally blown out, and it has to be 2 mana, so you can do it before they get Tron, etc. But people quickly figured out that you can target your own indestructible lands with it, and it's just Rampant Growth that draws a card. So we have 4 Cascading Cataracts and 2 Darksteel Citadels in the deck that we can target with this. And that's one of our ramp spells. We have, of course, Blocks Sapphire, or Blocks Diamond, Arboreal Grazer here. So 1/3, reach, put a land into play from your hand when it enters the battlefield. Classic Pioneer card. Since the format's inception, this has been present. Most of the decks in Pioneer are attacking decks. So Sweltering Suns, 3 of them in the main, and Sweltering Suns has been chosen for its cycling ability when it's not good. Golos, namesake of the deck. So what we're trying to do here, and you'll notice he is appropriately right in the middle of the curve. So there's a bunch of cards before him and a bunch of cards after him. So when Golos enters the battlefield, search your library for a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So it's a little Rampant Growth in itself. The land you tutor for is almost always going to be Cascading Cataracts. You pay 5, add 5 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool. And then Golos's bottom ability, pay Woburg and 2, exile your top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana costs. So you're trying to hit these bangers. Combustible Gearhulk. Does your opponent want to let you draw 3 or just take a million? Beanstalk Giant, it's a ramp spell on its adventure side for 3 mana, and it's a win condition and a giant 7-drop for Combustible Gearhulk on the top side. Ugin the Spirit Dragon and Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. We know these guys well enough. So these cards should win most games where they resolve. And then Shatterskull Smashing doubles as both a removal spell and a land. Thank you, Zendikar Rising, for the double-faced cards. So Paper's original version had some Solemn Simulacrums in it, had some different kind of stuff, and it really hurt me to cut the Solemn Simulacrums because I do love that card, but I think we needed to interact a little lower. I think Arboreal Grazer will do a lot of the same thing, but it'll interact with the format in a more relevant way. Just absorbing a bunch of damage with your 0/3 on turn 1 is worth a lot. And I added the Ugins. Paper had some other top-end stuff in here, but I think I just cleaned up the ramp package and cleaned up the payoff package. Neither one needed to be quite so diverse on the mana cost curve. You want your ramp to cost a little, and you want your bangers to cost a lot. And that's just how I built the deck, with Golos splitting the difference in between. I also added some lands to the deck and moved around the distribution of colored sources and indestructible lands. So this is what my version looks like. In the sideboard, I actually love this. We just turn into Eldrazi. This Thought Not Seer and Reality Smasher. We're just an Eldrazi deck after board, if we need to be. That is if we're playing against like a mid-range deck that can get above Arboreal Grazer, but below the ramp spells. Like Thought Not Seer is good against combo and control, even if we don't bring in the Smashers. Like there's a lot going on here. Spirits is the #1 played deck in Pioneer, so we have Skylasher. Flash can't be countered, Reach, Pro Blue. That's pretty good against the Spirit deck. It'll buy the time we need to Golos. And Carnage Tyrant, the big, bad, can't be countered, trample, hexproof. that should beat any blue decks we play against. So that's the plan. It's pretty simple. I haven't gotten to play an honest ramp deck in a while on the channel, so I'm excited to do this. Let's go Ulamog, everybody. I have won the die roll against a Luris deck. I'm going to keep this. It has the Blocks Diamond and lands to drop into play with it. It doesn't have a target for Cleansing Wildfire yet, but I think that's okay. And I am going to play my... I'm going to take the damage to shock this in, because I do think that it's worth doing early. I also don't want it to get like Thoughtseized, in case that's a thing. So it looks like they're a red deck of some kind. My 0-3 already doing work. Don't have any indestructible lands, unfortunately. But we're just going to hang tight here and hope that Golos shows up, or we draw an indestructible land to target with this Wildfire. So there's a Swift Spear. You can attack with both, which is a free attack. I'm going to block the Swift Spear, because that one... Like, Shock kills my Grazer either way, but this will deal 2 damage if I block here, and this will only deal 1. So that did absorb 4 damage from my opponent. Shatter Skull Smashing. So I can kill one of these things. I can deal 2 damage to... I guess the Swift Spear makes more sense. Though the next spell will deal... trying to figure out the math here. So the next spell they put in the graveyard will lock this in as a 2 forever. This will never attack for 3, but it'll always attack for 2. I have to imagine they're going to have spells that keep going here. I don't believe there are any 2 mana or 0 mana spells in Pioneer. So I'm going to wipe out the Swift Spear while I can. Okay, cool. It was a little dangerous not keeping this as a land, because my hand is just a bunch of clunkers right now. Alright, here come the lava runners. I took a Boros Charm, so I do need something good right now. That wasn't it. So I can Wildfire one of my own lands just to draw a card, and I think I'm gonna have to do that. This turns on at 7 lands. I'm not even close, so I'm gonna Wildfire one of these. I really need a Sweltering Suns. I'm gonna search up a forest, I suppose, and draw another Gearhulk. Okay, yeah, I think we lost this one. Didn't interact low enough on the curve. Missed some land drops, drew all the fatties and none of the ramp, which is always a risk when you play ramp. Take another 4 here. They're not even gonna need the Luris this game. Sweltering Suns, yeah! That was the one card that could have done anything here. I'm still at 5 though, and could just easily get burned out. If their hand is just... Oh, if they have Boros Charm to make their guys indestructible. Okay, I'm dead. Well played. Alright, I drew exactly what I needed, but they had it covered. Alright, so I'm going to need to be a lot lower to the ground, a lot beefier here. So, Warping Whale is a removal spell, or a blocker in a pinch. Exile target creature with power or toughness 1 or less, which can kill a non-prowessed creature. Like if they tap out, I can eat one of the prowess creatures or catch one of the lava runners before they're too big. So I don't think Ulamog is important to this matchup. I actually just want to get completely lower to the ground, bring in all my Eldrazi, because those are just big beef balls that block really well and also clock really well. So I still have my Ugins. Ugin can wipe out a squad of small creatures. Is Ugin better than Combustible Gearhulk? Like 8 mana versus 6. Yeah, I actually think that just lowering my mana curve completely and trying to just be a better creature deck than them is how I should play this matchup. Carnage Tyrant also costs 6, but all my 8s are out of the deck already. Beanstalk Giant still ramps. Yeah, I'm gonna play it like this. We got the old 7-lander. That's a mulligan. Oh, baby. This is also a mulligan. Alright, finally, a hand. Alright, I'm gonna keep... I gotta send 2 of these to the bottom. I'm gonna send one of the cataracts and the... I think it's the shrine. Because I'm gonna be hitting this cataracts with cleansing fire over and over again. And hope that will hit land drops and hopefully draw more lands. Yeah, I think that just bottoming 2 lands is the way to play this hand. Opponent's got their Battlefield Forge and a Lava Runner. Okay. Cataracts. Wildfire. Can't be destructed. Tutor up. Another mountain. So now I can cast Sweltering Suns, and I get to Thought-Knot Seer next turn. Turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer is not bad. They're going to have to put a lot of resources into killing this thing, and it gets to check their hand to figure out what resources they even have to work with. So this feels like Light Up the Stage. Yep, there it is. Wizard's Lightning is a strong one. This card is a wizard. Oh, we get to Thought-Knot Seer into Golos. Don't mind if I do. Beef up this board. Yeah, Cleansing Wildfire is pretty messed up when it works. Maybe there should be just more indestructible lands in the deck. Alright, I'm going to take the Chain to the Rocks, because that's the thing that deals with my Seer. So I have a choice here. Oh, they're just lightninging at the end step. Interesting. Okay. I thought for sure they would attack and try to use lightning to beat this thing, but they're just letting me have it in play, which I'm a little surprised by. So now I get to block. That would have saved their creature if they held on to it. Alright, so Pyromancer. Their hand is a second Pyromancer, Light Up the Stage, Boros Charm. So they don't get attacks this turn. I'll block real fast. Since they used their Wizard's Lightning. That was their way to kill Thought-Knot Seer. I'm gonna jam Golos this turn. Just having just a gigantic 3/5 butt on this thing is nice. I'm gonna play it off a Cataracts. Because just having more lands in the deck with Fabled Passage isn't a bad thing right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Use this. Do I have any sweet techie lands left? I guess the Shrine is my sweet techie land, but it doesn't really do anything different. Yeah, I'll grab Shrine though. Okay. The board is full of fat. Big old booties. So one thing Viashino Pyromancer turns on Light Up the Stage for them, so they don't need to do like a chump attack just to get damage through. So I suspect Pyromancer Light Up the Stage is the plan here. I am at 8 with what I can see right now, so it's starting. Life's total's starting to get a little rough. Okay, Wild Slash. They can give one of my creatures -2/-2 forever with that, with the Soulscar Mage. Alright, so I will accept a trade. If I block with Golos, this becomes a 3/4, and this becomes a 1/3, which I'm significantly less interested in. I take 3 damage off of this, though, and they get to draw a card. But yeah, I think I want Golos still to be in play. The prowess is too good here. And the minus ability. Just, if this was Swift Spear, we have easy blocks all around. But it's not. It is Soulscar Mage. We get to draw a card off the Thought-Knot Seer. Alright. So, this is not mana neutral. I have to pay 5 and tap this to get 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am 1 mana short of doing the Golos thing. So I'm going to have to Wildfire again. There's no double greens in the deck, so I will get the last mountain. That was a good find. Except that I just got my last mountain and it's tapped. That was exactly what I needed, and I blew it. Yeah, I did not play to my outs there. Okay, so I go to 4. or I go to 5, I take 1, 2, 3, 4 in combat, I am pretty likely dead because I can't cast this. Damn. Big mistakes. Oh, they have Ramanap Ruins. So they can't Ramanap and cast Boros Charm. So I think I have to block this one because I know they have instants and sorceries. This puts me to 1 effectively. Yeah. I am not winning this game. I needed to Shatter Skull Smash last turn and I missequenced. There's the Boros Charm and another Boros Charm. Okay. Yep. I would have been at 1 going into my turn to be able to activate Golos. Still not a good spot, but yep. Lesson learned. On to the next round. Yeah, in that last match, I was drawing to Shatter Skull Smashing or Sweltering Suns as my outs, so the correct sequence would have been fetch the third mountain off of Fabled Passage to thin lands out of my deck to hit those, maximize hitting those draws, and then Cleansing Wildfire, get a forest obviously, and be set up if I hit one of my 6 outs. So definitely blew it. Anyway, on the play for this one, this is a mulligan. This is a keep. We got beans. So I think I'm gonna bottom. It's either Combustible Gear Hulk or Forest. Like I have 5 lands here. Yeah, I'm gonna bottom Forest. Okay. So I think I need to play Fabled Passage first, because if I play Stomping Ground first and then draw Cleansing Wildfire, I'm going to want to fire my Cataracts, which means that my Fabled Passage doesn't make mana on turn 3. But I guess it wouldn't have to, would it? Because I just Wildfire. Okay, yeah, so I think leading on tap Stomping Grounds is better. There's a lot of subtleties to these decks. These ramp decks you think are easy, but they're not. Nothing's ever easy. Magic's hard. Looks like we are playing against Spirits. Time for Skylasher to show up. It's probably a tough game 1, but I do have the Smashing, which can buy a little bit of time. Supreme Phantom. Alright, Smashing no longer buys any time. They'll have an interesting decision if they want to counter my Beanstalk Giant or not and take 2 damage off the board. I don't know what the right call is there. Ooh, I hope they counter my Beanstalk Giant though. Alright, so cast Fertile Footsteps. Hope it gets countered because I want the Sweltering Suns to actually resolve. Alright, couldn't fool them. How much red mana do I need? Versus green. Yeah, I think red is just... It's weird that the deck has 5 forest and 3 mountain when I seem to always want mountains. But that is probably because you need the green to get set up, but once you have a green, you want red after that. So, some give and take there. If I grab a mountain... Yeah, mountain is what I want here. And next turn, I can Sweltering Suns through a Mausoleum Wanderer for 2, unless they have another Supreme Phantom. Or I guess any, like, instant... Alright, Selfless Spirit also messes me up. This deck's good. I'm glad we have a dedicated sideboard for it. So, in for 4 here. So, I could just jam Golos, which locks in Combustible Gear Hulk, but that costs me a bunch of life to do. Yeah, I think I just need to Sweltering Suns. And I'm not going to shock in the land or bolt in the land because they have 2 different ways to counter it. If I could play around this, I would, but they have the Indestructible anyway. That still takes 2 damage off the board. Play this, do not pay 3. And then if I draw a land, I can cast Combustible Gear Hulk, which is something that Mausoleum Wanderer doesn't counter. Bad news is we're on a 2-turn clock here. Oh. Same clock. So it takes 6. Or no, now we're on a 1-turn clock, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 1-turn clock. Yeah, even with the Gear Hulk, They just let me draw 3. I guess I should I show them the Gearhulk? Yeah, I guess I'll give them the opportunity to die to the Gearhulk trigger. Gearhulk's on the stack. Let's party. They just let me draw 3 here. That's the correct play, but there's a chance they take the damage. I'm going to give them the chance to mess it up. All right. They didn't mess up. So Gearhulk was not good enough. Bring in the Skylashers, the Warping Whales. Do I want Thought-Knot Seer here? Thought-Knot Seer can check their hand for stuff, which is pretty important. Ulamog's medium. Combustible Gearhulk just not interacting in combat at all is kind of a problem. Ugin is nice, and Ulamog, and I'm going to need some sort of top end. Or do I need a top end? I could just have Ugin in the deck. But Golos gets pretty bad without this critical mass. So I think having just one Thought-Knot Seer, it's not a card that I want a whole lot of, but it's better than the Combustible Gearhulks. So let's go. Between Arboreal Grazer and Skylasher, I have a lot of ways to interact with the sky. Alright, there's a Grazer that I can't cast meaningfully. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, there's a Grazer that I can cast meaningfully. So I'm going to keep this, and I think sending the Wildfire is the right... I'm going to send Golos, actually, because Wildfire has a lot of upside if I find one of my indestructible lands. So we get to Blocks Diamond. That should buy some time. I can Warping Whale the first Supreme Phantom. This looks like a Spectral Sailor all day, every day. Well, drawing that is a pretty easy cast. Get a Mountain, of course. Now we have double green and double red. Here comes Spectral Sailor. I don't really need to Warping Whale that immediately, because I can block it, and Warping Whale will be better on a Supreme Phantom. Selfless Spirit, pretty happy to exile that also. One indestructible land. Alright, we didn't find an indestructible land. I can still cycle here. Like, I could zap their Glacial Fortress. I don't know if they play basic planes. I guess zapping their land is the same as zapping my own, really. I'm gonna exile Selfless Spirit. This land does come into play tapped, so I don't need to worry about them like flashing in an extra Spectral Sailor. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the cantrip here. We'll learn if they play basic planes or not. Or if they want basic planes. Sweltering Suns. Alright, looks like they don't have a basic planes, or they didn't search for it. And the cantrip paid off in the form of Sweltering Suns. Oh, they do have basic planes. It was just in their hand. Gotcha. So now we're going to play a little game of cat and mouse, where I am extremely interested in waiting as long as possible on the Sweltering Suns, because it also kills my Grazer. Right, Supreme Phantom. Oh, if they put anything else into play. Oh, yikes. Okay. So now they get to ram in, and I get a really good Sweltering Suns because I block here, and then we just Swelter. Get a 3-for-1. Get out of here. That was really good. The Cleansing Wildfire still doesn't have a target, so Cataracts. Like, really any land is good, because jamming Golos here is nice. Wildfire. Destroy target land. I'm gonna destroy their planes. Try to redraw. Just trying to hit land drops right now. Finding a Cataracts would be great. Do I want my Grazer in play more than I want to draw a card right now? They have 2 cards in their hand? Yeah, probably. I just want to soak up damage right now. Okay. So I'm still at 20, and it's turn 5 against the aggro deck, but I'm not really doing anything. Alright, so they have an attack here. I will absorb it. Like, absorbing 3 damage is as good as anything's going to get. And if I draw the Sweltering Suns, that's going to die anyway. Fire off another fire, I guess. Oh, they quelled it. Powerful. Alright, I'm in trouble. Yeah, am I not playing enough lands? Like, I'm playing 28, but I keep missing land drops anyway. Maybe I'm just supposed to have like 30. This is a ramp deck. It can't really afford to miss land drops. Oh, look who showed up. Alright, so let's find out if they can counter a Golos. If they even need to counter a Golos, I guess is the more important question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is land number 6. I should get the Cataracts. Yeah, I mean, would have been nice to have that for any of these Cleansing Wildfires. And Sweltering Stun, still my best draw. I hope for the best. Oh, now Sweltering Suns doesn't do it because this is a 2/4. Yuck. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm dead next turn. What do I need to draw here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Activate. Yeah, I don't know that I have a draw that gets me out of this. Only to cast colorless spells, and only if you have 7 or more lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm 1 land short of casting Ugin here. So, yep, I am run over. No Skylasher. The Sweltering Suns wasn't good enough. Missing land drops. Like, maybe I just don't have enough lands in the deck. 28 feels like a lot of lands, because I usually play Legacy, where control decks play 20 lands, and some decks play like 17. And then Vintage, decks play like 8 lands in Vintage, but 28 lands feels like a million to me, but maybe it's just not enough. On the play in round number 3, and I have this weirdo hand, but I'm going to keep it. I can cycle Sweltering Suns if I need to. Again, any indestructible land sets it off. Maybe I'm just supposed to be playing the full 8 of those. Like, if I have 4 Citadels and 4 Cataracts, like if I replace 2 of the Fabled Passages with 2 more Citadels, then if I could have targeted one of my own indestructible lands last game with one of my Cleansing Wildfires that I fired off, the game would have been much better. So I'm just going to get my cantrip here. Might be able to take them off white while I'm at it. Not really sure what the white is for, but let's not let them have it. Just trying to hit my land drops, because finding the second red is going to be really important here. I can Beanstalk into it next turn, but that might be too late if this gets any counters on it. All right, drew Golos. They tutored up a swamp. Another Concealed Courtyard. Luckily, I have 2 Sweltering Suns, so a Thoughtseize doesn't collapse my hand here. Okay, I mean, that's exactly the type of thing I was worried about. Alright, I think I need to... Drawing the Cataracts means I get to Wildfire. Yes. Get a mountain. Okay. I guess this doesn't matter, because this will die to the Suns, and then this will be smaller. So this can get a counter, and I can still sweep the board. Okay, that's actually fine. We're good. The Sweltering Suns will not be too late. It's just going to be a toasty little 4-for-1. Fabled Passage was the draw. So I can Beanstalk, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield. That does not come in tapped, so I can Beanstalk here into the Sweltering Suns, and Golos is lined up with the Cataracts. I feel like this is a game we can win. We drew the correct number of interaction, land drops, and payoff spells. Like, even if they can kill or Thoughtseize Golos, I can still have this Beanstalk Giant hanging out. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I even get to cheat Golos in a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, use the ability. What do I want now? Do I just get Stomping Ground to keep things set up? Second Cataracts doesn't really matter. I guess Shrine of the Forsaken Gods is the one that hardcasts the biggest idiots if I find them. And I can decide if I want to cycle Sweltering Suns or if I'm going to need to sweep again. But it looks like we're going to get a Golos activation out of this game. Unless they kill Golos, of course. Sanctum Seeker, that's a powerful card, so they can attack and drain me for 1 if they want to chump attack with their Dusk Legion Zealot. I'm going to hold on to the Sweltering Suns. I haven't given up on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I don't think we're going to get a Golos activation. It's probably better just to cast Ulamog. Alright, my opponent has conceded to my Fabled Passage. I think they counted to 10 and figured out what was coming. Or just realized that they're not beating the Golos and the Beanstalk Giant anyway. Okay, now what happens? Warping Whale can interact with some of their creatures some of the time. I think I do like Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher. Or definitely Thought-Knot Seer, maybe not Smasher so much. The Combustible Gear Hulk actually is a significant force in combat for this matchup. So 2 Ulamogs out. Thought-Knot Seers in. Golos actually is starting to look like one of the worst cards. Though it is a 3/5 and does turn the corner so well. So maybe I'll keep Golos and 1 last Gear Hulk. Does that sound right? I don't know. I really like Gear Hulk in the matchup. I'm off the Warping Whales, by the way. I want to be... Yeah, okay. I'll turn my 2 10-drops and a 6-drop into 3 4-drops and just try to interact on board, on curve a little differently this time. So this hand on the draw, I have the Blocks Diamond. I have a Wildfire. I guess Wildfire can cantrip even if I don't find an indestructible land. Like I can cast this turn too. I have 2 draw steps in the meantime. So between being on the draw, my second turn's draw step, and the Cleansing Wildfire, I have 3 draws to find a land before I miss a land drop. I think this hand has enough upside. And there are 26 lands left in the deck of my 53 card deck. So almost exactly 50-50 in my deck of lands versus non-lands I could draw. Maybe my deck will just show me the Cataracts. Combustible Gear Hulk is not the Cataracts. Notably, not Cataracts. So I mean, I'm going to have to hit on a draw step, but drawing the Cataracts or the Citadel is insane. I'll take my blocks where I can get them. Shit. Come on now. Let's draw the land. Great. Alright, well, I've lost 3 coin flips in a row to miss my land drop. Half my deck is lands right now, more than half at this point, and I had 3 draw steps, and none of them yielded the land. And at this point to win this game, I'll need Sweltering Suns, and I need it this turn. And even if I draw it, I don't have the land to cast it. Okay. That one did not go well. Yeah, I think if we're doing this Cleansing Wildfire thing, we just need to be playing the full 8 indestructible lands. So, deck building lesson learned there. Do I want the Warping Whales? I probably just want every way to interact. And maybe Ulamog is just not something I'm interested in for this matchup at all. I have Warping Whale, no way to cast it. This one's a mulligan. Alright, this one explodes in a way that I like. I'm going to bottom the backup Grazer. Because I have a turn 2 Fertile Footsteps. The deck will need to produce some spells or payoffs here, but this is a very rampy hand. And keeping a rampy hand that needs to find a payoff is much better than finding a payoff hand that needs to find ramp, like we saw last game. So I'm going to keep this and bottom one of the Grazers. Keep the hand, bottom Grazer. Stomping Ground into play, pay the 2 because I have to. Then Arboreal Grazer, I'm going to put in a Shrine. Rootbound Crag comes into play untapped anyway. It doesn't really matter what land I put in there. Just dealer's choice. Another Concealed Courtyard to begin the game. Another Sky Marcher Aspirant. This looks familiar. This looks better than previous. Right, Rootbound Crag. Fertile Footsteps. I'll get another Mountain. And off we go. This would be a bad time to get Thought Seized. But if they Thoughtseize, then they're not playing the Vampire Lord. Okay, I don't care about that. That doesn't add to the board in a way that I care about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, still a ways away from Shrine of the Forsaken Gods being on, so no reason to sequence that differently. Just like I was talking about in the Spirits matchup, we're going to dance around this Grazer. Like, I want the Grazer to absorb as much damage as it can and force them to commit as much as they need to get around it before I Swelter. The difference is that this deck has Thoughtseize in it. Alright, so I'm going to cycle this because if I draw a land, then it bricks their Thoughtseize. Alright, perfect. I mean, it sucks that my Sweltering Suns is gone, but at least I countered their Thoughtseize. Kind of. It did what it wanted to do. So they have the Vampire Lord. I'm going to block the 2-power creature with my Grazer. Absorbing 2 damage over multiple turns will end up doing more than absorbing 3 damage once. Come on, Combustible Gearhulk. That was not Combustible Gearhulk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 7. So I'm going to play the Stomping Ground. Do not take 2. So now we're in the try to survive phase. I get Gearhulk, or not Gearhulk, Beanstalk next turn. So I get a 7/7, which is pretty huge. I don't know what like pure removal spells they play, like what Doomblades they have. Legion's Landing. They also could just be trying to go wide around it, which will work eventually. Block one of these 2/2s. And Sweltering Suns. Oh, Shatter Skull Smashing. How much does that do? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can spread 5 damage around. Deals X damage divided as you choose up to 2 target creatures or planeswalkers. Alright, I don't need to get to 6 to double it, so I'm just gonna smash the Lord and a flying creature. So smashing, deal 2 here and 2 here. Guess I only need to deal 1 there. And 3 here. Just make sure it's dead. Wait. I can spend less mana on this overall. I can do 2 and 1, and that'll kill them. Alright, so 2 damage here, 1 here. Okay. That buys me a lot of time. A lot of breathing room. Not bad. There's Sorin. That's worrisome. That can kill my Arboreal Grazer if they want to... Okay, that makes more sense. They're just buffing their lifelink creature. But they have 2 cards left in hand. Oh, it also gets Death Touch for the turn. Oh, yep, that is how that card works. Didn't even know. Alright, Beanstalk Giant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you are. So I have this 8/8 now. Unfortunately, they have several ways to get Death Touch. This gets +3/+3 in Death Touch. Sorin can just hand Death Touch around. I thought we were way ahead this game, but just drew a couple lands in a row while they drew Death Touch creatures. Alright. I will probably put Beanstalk Giant in front of Knight of the Ebon Legion, because it can pump twice, and yeah, it's literally lethal, so I have to put it in front of that one. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. That would have dealt 7 + 1, yeah. Actual factual lethal. If they had put a counter on this before combat with Sorin, it actually would have survived being blocked by Beanstalk Giant. It would have been an 8/9. Okay. They're just Lightning Helixing me out here. That makes sense. Might as well play around removal. Oh, Odonto Vanguard. Yep, not beating that. And there's no Ulamogs left in my deck right now. Yeah, just got beat here. They beat the Sweltering Suns with a Thoughtseize. I was a little too far behind. Too late for this to matter. Alright, GG. Pioneer's full of good spells. Just overpowering my Beanstalk Giants left and right. I'm on the play in round number 4. I have the Grazer. I have a indestructible land. I think this is the best hand we've seen yet. At least the most coherent mix of things. I have like the turn 2 Beanstalk and a turn 3 Golos. Just ramping in every direction. So let's just hope this is actually good. If I just get like miscast here, I'm quitting Magic. Blue decks messing with me. Though if they are spirits, Golos is going to be up ahead. Okay, they're not spirits. They are definitely some other kind of blue deck. This is the first time we've gotten to do everything we want, and also the time that it might matter the least. If I just get countered. Oh, didn't get countered. We're off to the races, team. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activate. I'm 2 turns away from activating Golos. They have a Narset. So if they activate her, she dies in combat. And then I get to Wildfire myself, which guarantees the... Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Behold the Multiverse. I think it's probably better to just cast my Beanstalk Giant than to get my ramp. Okay, now that I drew the land, it makes it really easy. Attack Narset. She's dead. Narset kind of sucks against creature decks. Normally I'm playing decks where Narset is a complete nightmare, but I'm glad that's not the case right now. Beanstalk Giant's in. I have a 7/7. It'll attack as an 8/8 next turn, and I get to activate Golos for the first time in the league if my opponent doesn't just concede first. Teferi, Master of Time. Okay, so they could phase out Golos. They're looting. They would have to phase out Giant to not lose their Teferi. I don't know. I hope they phase out Giant. And if they want to phase out Golos, okay. They phased out the Giant. Oh, I guess they lose Teferi either way. Yeah, that's fine. Deal. And for the first time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pop Golos. Show me the Ulamog. Alright, yeah, we got Ugin. Cleansing Wildfire. Yeah, this was good. Solid showing. And even cast Arboreal Grazer for good measure. I don't have a land to put in, unfortunately. But that's okay. Ugin can zap Teferi. Then Golos can attack. It's 3 damage either way. Okay, I feel like we're gonna win a game. Maybe my opponent will let me refire Golos next turn. Just give it to me. Or at least let me put the Ulamog on the stack. Another island. Another Narset. That's not gonna help them here. Unless there's some sort of combo deck that I don't understand, I don't think we're gonna lose this game. Like, if they just suddenly pivot into just, like, fog you, take all the turns. Okay. Extra turns are, in fact, the sort of thing I would worry about. But I think Ulamog will make all that unnecessary. Okay, so I drew a land. So that's 10, 13, 16. I can put my opponent to 1. But that leaves them with Narset. I could also activate Golos, see what happens. Because if I activate Golos and hit a ramp spell, even a second Golos, I can kill them now. Yeah, being 1 short. Oh, I can just cast Cleansing Wildfire and win. Okay, I'll do that. Yes. Sorry, that's not sexy. I guess I'll cast Ulamog too. Just let them know what they're up against. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I won't. I'm 1 short. Alright, they can just wonder what my 10 drop is. Alright, Infer. Enough. 11, 14, 17. Yeah, I have Xaxes. Alright, they're dead. So Arlen's Epiphany is in their deck. So Thought-Knot Seer. This is a Thought-Knot Seer matchup. This is probably also a Carnage Tyrant matchup. These are cards I want. Gearhulk just gets straight upgraded in a Carnage Tyrant. I want some number of Ulamog, but it's also a totally cuttable card. Ugin doesn't seem super important. Oh, Sweltering Sun seems actively bad. So I'm actually gonna cut the Sweltering Suns. That gives up a lot of deck space, so I can have one of my Ulamogs back. I don't know how many 6-drops I actually need. Like, Skylasher is an uncounterable thing that can pressure their Planeswalkers in a way that I care about. So I think I just want Skylasher as sort of like a Delver of Secrets impression. The Reality Smashers, do I want those over Combustible Gear Hulk and Ugin? Because I don't feel like I need to control the board very much. And a Haste Body seems like it would do the job that I need it to do. All right, maybe I'll go to the full Eldrazi package, the Thought-Knots, the Smashers, and just one less Ulamog. This hand does not have green mana. It's a ship. This hand's great. I have the Wildfire combo, Carnage Tyrant. I'm going to keep this and send, I think, Carnage Tyrant to the bottom. My deck is full of payoffs. I just want to make sure I have the lands to cast them when I find them. I drew an Ulamog. I guess I'll lead on Cataracts. Probably doesn't matter, but there's my Cataracts. They have an island to go with their fake island. Their shitty island that turns into a great island. Wildfire combo. Set up that turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer. Nice. Ramping into Thought-Knot Seer is a tried and true strategy in even the most eternal of formats. Even Vintage does that sometimes. So they can just hardcast Mystical Dispute, but I still think I want to take this play that's available to me. I didn't ramp into turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer to not cast it. Dictate of Krufix. Alright. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they draw an additional card. Okay, so this is some sort of like Turbo Fog deck. Engulf the shore, return all things equal to your islands, negate. Alright, I don't care about negate. I care deeply about Teferi, though. Alright, so, I mean, the hits are going to keep coming. This Dictate is going to Howling Mine us all over the place, and I think I boarded out everything in my deck that could get negated. Like my Sweltering Suns, I guess I still have the Cleansing Wildfires. But my Suns, my beautiful Suns, they're in the sideboard. Ugin is not in the deck anymore. You can't negate an Ulamog. Beanstalk Giant, and another Ulamog. So I can attack for 4, see what happens. They're probably going to play the second Dictate in the end step, no matter what else I do. I guess you can negate this, but if they negate this, yeah, if they negate my Portal Footsteps, they don't get to Dictate this turn. Right, I'm glad they didn't negate it, because I did not sequence my lands in a way that cast Arboreal Grazer. But now Grazer's in, so is this Forest. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana for next turn. If these Dictates draw me into a Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, I can Ulamog next turn. So that's 5 islands. They can't quite engulf my shores yet. Oh, Narset, bummer. Okay, so now I don't get to Dictate, but they do. I see how their deck works. That's smart. Oh, Blink of an Eye. That can remove my Thought-Knot Seer from play. Okay, they're starting to turn the corner over there. Starting to make some sense. And I don't get the extra draws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. My math was correct last turn. I'll attack Narset. Let's see if they want to blink this. They probably do. But I don't know what their deck is for. Alright, they didn't blink it. I guess they can engulf it next turn, so what's the rush? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might be a better thing to blink. That might have been what they're planning. It is huge. And it is out of reach of Engulf the Shores. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can Engulf the Shores this turn, assuming that one of their 7 cards in hand is an island. Or I guess it just has to be any land. They don't need to all be islands. Alright, so they can in fact engulf my shores if they want to, but engulf will not get the Ulamog. Now they can't engulf because they tapped too low. Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm going to attack Narset again with my Thought-Knot Seer and then see what they do with that. Okay, they just exiled Arlen's Epiphany, which costs 6 on the back end. So I'm going to attack Narset and then probably Ulamog to lands. I think that makes sense. That messes up their engulf. It sets back their Arlen's Epiphany. Yeah, that does make sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. I did not miscount. I do get to Ulamog this turn. Ulamog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Ulamog, exile, island, and island. In the second Ulamog, exiling more islands. I think this is how I'm going to beat this deck. Just choke them on mana. Yeah, costs 6 on the flip side, so they're not going to be able to start stringing those together unless they have some way to ramp. And that also sets their Engulf the Shores back a bunch of turns. Why did I think this was a 6-drop? It's cost 4 the entire time. Yeah, they could have engulfed many times before now, and they just haven't. But now Ulamog will not be engulfed. Can't be, won't be. And now they have to, even if they have bounce spells, they have to choose between like bounce it before combat, where it gets to eat 20 cards out of their deck, or bounce it after combat, so I can't replay it. Sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm just going to go to combat. And I have a second one, so even if they could bounce this and they just like quote unquote played around it, I have a second Ulamog that's going to eat 2 more islands, and then I think the game will be over. 20 cards have been exiled. Ooh, Shark Typhoon. So they can just block. That's fine. Damage is not my plan to win this game. Right, part the Water Veil. Okay, so this is just mono blue turbo turns, which we figured out, but now we've seen more of the cards that are in the deck. They absorb 10 damage. Don't care. And I did not draw a land, so I'm just going to make that same play again. My opponent probably just saw that colored mana, leave my pool, and roll their eyes into the back of their head. Exile 2 more islands. And I'm feeling pretty good about this one. So Ulamog comes in, keep the untapped one. Alright, so they have to win the game with 3 or 4 mana in the face of Ulamog that's about to deck them. They can't bounce it before combat, they can't bounce it after combat. If they have some like tap things, like Frost Breath, like tap 2 target creatures, they don't untap next turn, that could bridge the gap in a way that is actually useful to them. That would be a pretty specific card to have in a constructed deck. Okay, they've conceded. We're on the board. On to the final round. I'm on the play in the final round against the Lurrus deck. I have an Indestructible Land and Cleansing Wildfire and Sweltering Suns, which is probably good against Lurrus decks in general. The Ulamog's awkward. Probably going to board it out. But having the turn 2 ramp and the Suns, this hand is definitely a keep. Let's find out what flavor of Lurrus they are. The Ketria Triumph flavor, apparently. So Ketria Triumph's interesting, because, like, obviously I want a Wildfire myself to ramp, but at the same time, what are they doing with this? They definitely would rather not have a basic than that. Like, could this function as Color Screw? But I think I'm just going to take the line that my deck was built to play and go with it. Okay. Here we are. Opponent said nice in the chat to the sweltering or the Wildfire play. Oh, I'm getting Thoughtseize. Probably losing Sweltering Suns here, I would guess. Though I guess they could take Smashing. But they're both removal spells, ultimately. Oh, they took Ulamog. Fascinating. Are they planning to play a game that long? I'm really surprised they took Ulamog. I just don't. Unless there's some sort of creatureless 4 or 5 color control deck. So this is Rug plus black. So we see 4 colors so far. Yeah, they could just be a creatureless deck that has Lurrus as a companion because it's free. So I know they can't have Shark Typhoon. I got that going on. Another Thoughtseize. Yeah, sure. Cycling the Sweltering Suns doesn't make sense here because they have 2 of them. They could just take the other if that's what they care about. Thoughtseize is one of the most powerful cards that exists in Pioneer. Like, even in or out of the context of the format, just abstractly most powerful cards, for sure. I'm going to cycle these Suns. Let's try to keep things moving. Like, finding Golos here would be insane. No Golos, no love. I'm officially all dressed up. I just need somewhere to go. Not quite protected from Thoughtseize, but very close. Ugin, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can Ugin next turn. I'll opt in the end step here. I am pretty worried about getting comboed out. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're clearly up to something over there. And they were also clearly right. Oh, come on with the 3rd Thoughtseize. See you later, Ugin. Yeah, 3 Thoughtseize is pretty strong. Showed up just in time. Combustible Gearhulk. Let's go. Ugh. Okay, someday I'll draw a payoff and then they'll be in trouble. I can almost Ulamog at this point. Ooh, my opponent has mismatched Thoughtseizes and mismatched ops. Respect. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Alright, how am I dead? What's the win condition here? You've Thoughtseized me 3 times, sculpted your hand. What you got? Bring to light. Oh, this is a Valky deck. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, there's Tybalt. So they can exile the top card of each player's library. They got a Smashing from me and a Bring to Light from themselves, so they can Bring to Light again next turn. I can play my Smashing as their land for turn. I can kill Tybalt this turn, but they can just get another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Smashing, target Tybalt. And X will be 6, so it'll double it. Wait, what the shit? 6, target, up to 2, yes. Up to 2 is 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm trying to do 6 damage here. No legal targets to choose from, what? Up to 2. What's the problem here? What am I missing? Shatterclaw Smashing deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, it deals twice that. Tell me in the chat what I've done wrong here. I don't know. Alright, I give up. Whatever. Apparently I can't cast that. I'm not going to fire it off for like 4 and not kill Tybalt. So, I will submit my bug report for that and see if I get my money back. So they're activating Tybalt again. They got a Golos out of me and a Sinister Sabotage out of themselves. Wow, Sinister Sabotage. Oh, Sinister. Alright, I was thinking Steel Sabotage. I was like, wow, that card is a weird one to have. But Sinister Sabotage, I can't beat that. Now they have a counterspell on top of all their other shit. So, Ulamog is my only live draw. I guess I can cast this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can counter this if they want to. Just trying to pave the way for this Shatterskull Smashing, I guess. But they can Bring to Light as they like. I guess I have to keep playing until I draw Ulamog. But they have a Bring to Light in exile with Valky already, or a Tybalt already. And that card will just get another Tybalt. Okay. I'm out of here. And this thing's ready to go ultimate. Yeah. Alright, hopefully that bug report lets me play this league for free. Because I need it. I need the relief. Immortal Sun looks really good here. Thought-Knot Seer looks pretty good. Warping Whale counters a sorcery, which Bring to Light is. These do all seem pretty good. Sweltering Suns, you're out. I do still like the Wildfire for the ramp, and knowing that color screwing them is kind of important is a nice touch as well. Do I want this? I think I want the Smashers. I think I just need to be a mid-range deck and pound through this Thoughtseize into Valky type situation. Ulamog is good at the top end, but it's also dangerous that they could steal them from me. Golos is medium, but I think Combustible Gearhulk is worse. Gotta cut one more thing. And basically just upgrading my Goloses into Reality Smashers for this build of the deck. Though Hexproof is nice. Valky can't, or Tibalt can't exile it, but I can't really beat it if they take it either. Maybe I am just completely off Combustible Gearhulk and in on Carnage Tyrant. Okay, totally different deck here. Right, so I have a hand that plays a solid game, but it doesn't do anything till turn 4. If I draw a ramp spell, it gets better. I mean, there are Thoughtseize decks, so I have to respect that too. I'm going to keep this. It might be too slow, but I don't want to just get Thoughtseized out of the game if I maul to a 5 that does anything. Because like we've seen with the ramp strategy all day, sometimes you have ramp but no payoff, sometimes you have payoff but no ramp, and Thoughtseize can collapse it either way. Fabled Passage getting Mountain sets up the turn 2 Cleansing Wildfire. So I'll get my Mountain. Let's draw Wildfire. Right, not Wildfire, but I'll take a Beanstalk Giant. That's ramp. Get that Eldrazi, that Reality Smasher in a little faster. Boo. So let's see, do they take the Beanstalk Giant to slow down my ramp? Because like my hand is all top end. Because we'll see what they care about. They could take the Smashing and try to deny me a land. They took Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, that makes sense. That's the one that does something other than attack. The most unique part of the hand. Fertile Footsteps. I do have a double green card in my deck now, and not just in my deck, but in my hand. So I am going to get Forest instead of the usual Mountain with this Beanstalk Giant. Do they have another Thoughtseize? They do not. That's lucky. I am going to see their thoughts. Okay, it's in there. Sinister Sabotage, don't care. Opt, negate. I'm going to take the opt because Carnage Tyrant has no respect for Sinister Sabotage. Okay, here we go. The path to victory is laid out ahead of us. We just need to actually achieve it. Right, so I get to jam Carnage Tyrant into their 3 counter spells. They might cast one of them just to surveil and get a little control over their next draw steps. Shatterskull Pass, pay the 3 life. Let's go, Carnage Tyrant. Thick boy, on the stack. Did not fire off one of their sabotages. I probably woulda. Alright, just packed it up. Carnage Tyrant, too good. Okay, so the juke onto Eldrazi midrange did pay off there. They had that negate in their hand, which has very few targets in the deck. I did like that move. And I still think 3 is the correct number of Ulamog to have. Because the game could get that far, and it's one of the few ways I have to kill a Tibalt. So let's try it. So I have 3 lands, 2 Thought-Knots. I'm going to keep this. I'm set up for a Cleansing Wildfire. If I draw one, that's actually the best draw in my entire deck. Stomping Ground's a good start. So now I'm set up. I can zap my Cataracts if I draw the thing, and that would be great because that would get me up to a turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer. Just accelerating that out is a big part of the plan. A Thoughtseize is not going to collapse my hand because I have 2 of the most important card. Wow. Money in the bank. Alright, let's see. Do they have the negate? They do not have the negate. Alright, turn 3 Thought-Knot Seer. Line it up. Castle Vantress out of them and pass the turn. So they can Sinister Sabotage my first Thought-Knot Seer. I have a second one though. Green, green. I already have all of my colors set up. So let's just start knotting their thoughts. Yep, Sabotage. No surprise there. They did not mill with Surveil. They also only have 3 colors of mana, or 2 colors of mana right now. They're just playing pure Dimir, which is not how you cast Bring to Light. But I guess it only needs to be for 2, doesn't it? That's messed up. Ooh, I could Golos, or I could check their thoughts. The Jace makes it a little awkward. No, I'm going to check their thoughts. Let's go. I'm more scared of the Bring to Light in their hand than anything else that's going on right now. Confirmed Bring to Light in their hand. I'll take it. And it's exiled, so they can't flash it back with Jace. Aethergust, Dig Through Time, and Overgrown Tomb are the hand. Valky's actually pretty messed up. Just on the front half, it can just take Golos and maybe cast it. Alright, so they shocked in Overgrown Tomb. They are planning on casting Dig Through Time this turn, which makes a lot of sense because that's a good card. Alright, let's smash. So it will be kind of hard to flip Jace into a Planeswalker this turn. So that's 3 cards. The Fabled Passage is 4. So blocking will not be an easy choice for them. Oh wait, no, the loot makes 5. Okay, yeah. I just can't do math. Alright. Yeah, the opt turns Jace into a flippable Planeswalker, which means they can block Thought-Knot Seer, tap this, save 5 damage, but I'm still going to make the attack. And I am going to play Shatter Skull Smashing as a land drop because it's more important doing that than anything else right now. They bottomed their card with Opt. Here comes the Dig. Yeah, so this is pretty scary because if they've Opt saw 2 cards, the second Opt saw another 2 cards, Jace saw a card, Dig Through Time just saw 7 cards. So they've seen 12 cards this turn, and they're going to have a draw step where they can see another one. So if any of those 13 cards were Bring to Light, I could just get Tibalted out of the game here. So we do have a lot of power in play to pressure Tibalt, so it's a little more interesting than that. Drawing all 3 Ulamogs has been a pretty big beating. Yeah, they obviously take Golos, the one card that's remotely castable in my hand. 6 mana, so I'm in the business of Carnage Tyrant. Right, here's Bring to Light. Cast with 2 colors. They got the Valky, or the Tibalt. If it minuses to exile one of my creatures, I can kill it with the other one. And then they get to cast the creature they exile, but most of the damage is done. Jace can... Yeah, even Jace plussing doesn't save Tibalt. But Jace can flashback Bring to Light next turn and exile my other thing. Yeah, this sucks. Alright, redrew Golos. Could have been worse. Deck Tibalt, the Cosmic Imposter. I want that gone, at least temporarily. And then Golos is going to tutor up the Shrine of the Old Gods, or whatever it's called. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. And now I'm suddenly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods off the top starts casting Ulamogs. And if they don't exile, so if they exile Golos with the second Tibalt, then Thought-Knot Seer gets to kill Tibalt again. If they exile, oh, they had to use Jace to cast the Bring to Light, so it doesn't matter which one they exile. Tibalt's going to die either way. So they might as well get rid of Golos, because that's the one that's going to start casting my deck. Yep, they agree. And even if I do keep this Tibalt under control, they still just get to start casting my Golos and stuff out of the yard. Oh, where were you? A little late to the party. Attack, Tybalt, and in we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. No love. So one thing I can do is if they don't cast something I need to counter with Warping Wail, like if they don't put a Bring to Light on the stack right now, I can Warping Wail in the end step to make the 1/1 Eldrazi Scion and just hope to draw any land for an Ulamog. So I'm not even sure if Ulamog's good at this point. I mean, it's as good as I'm going to get, but I'm not sure that it's actually like good. Or Warping Wail. So if they attack with Smasher, I get to push back on Jace a little bit. Alright, so I am going to make the Scion on the stack. They do have the mana to counter this if they want to. Alright, any land cast Ulamog now. That's not what I was looking for, but I'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smasher. So I want to attack Jace with this and opponent with these. I know they have Aether Gust in hand. And 1 mystery card. Just hope that mystery card doesn't interact with what I'm doing in a way that I care about. Okay. Opponent's at 8. Oh no. Did they have Dig Through Time? Was that their last card? Ouch. That's brutal. But I have managed to control their planeswalkers, and their life total is pretty low. This Aether Gust is pretty embarrassing. I guess that, I mean, they have seen red and green lands, so... And because it does tuck the Carnage Tyrant, so, alright, it's not embarrassing. It does check the card that they lost to in game 2. I get it. Extinction Event. Alright, so I have both... We both have odds. I have evens. 0 is unfortunately even for the sake of Magic the Gathering math. They even get to draw a card because my Thought Knot went away. So we'll see if they even attack here. Alright, still Fearless. Always be clocking. Wonder what that other card was they found. I'm looking for a Scion off the... or the Shrine of the Temple. Shrine of the Forgotten Gods. The classic betrayal. Alright, I'll put you to 3. So Jace can flip next turn. Do I even play this thing? Do I even put it into play? I guess it can absorb 3 damage, which changes the clock a little. Yeah, alright. Go! So if they flashback Extinction Event, they get to exile this for free. But whatever. I will put it on the bottom. Alright, they finally found a target for their Aether Gust. That's fine, that frees up my Carnage Tyrant. If I draw it. But they have Extinction Event now. For that. Okay, so I guess they could flashback Extinction Event, exile all the creatures, play Golos. That's pretty good. Or they could just Dig Through Time again and beat me on board. Jace did target Dig Through Time, so they're digging. The Lurrus is still waiting, too, by the way. Just lurking over there. Digs on the stack. And there's my Golos. Can this deck actually make 5 colors of mana is the question. Do they have a white source, or did they stop at 4? I don't see any white mana. That's at least a relief. Really need that temple. Jesus. Alright, I will attack them. I'll force the block with Golos, and then just hope that this Arboreal Grazer holds up. That's all I can do. Here we go. And drawing all 3 Ulamogs. Any other land or spell in my deck would have made this game at least a little bit competitive. Alright, I'm dead. Dead to my own Smasher. GG's. So changes I'm going to make to this deck right away. I want the 2 Fabled Passage to become Darksteel Citadels. Just when the Cleansing Wildfire interaction was on, the deck was so much better than when it wasn't. I think that the top end is a little too heavy. So maybe some of these Gear Hulks can go back to being Solemn Simulacrums. So that gives us a little more activity in the reasonably castable zone. And it does jump 4 to 6, which the deck cares about. And drawing extra cards is also something the deck cares about. So I would redistribute it like this if I was going to try this again. I think that you need all 4 Skylashers. So the list paper sent me did have all 4 Skylashers in the sideboard. I caught one of them to make room for some of this other stuff I was playing around with. But I think that having all 4, the Spirits deck just is such a problem. That deck's really good against us, and it's very prevalent. So I think you do want all 4 of those, and I like the Carnage Tyrant where they matter. And I think that's how I would change this deck. As far as ramp strategies in Pioneer go, I think that being Simic with Growth Spiral, is that card still legal? I'm sorry if that card's been banned, but I'm pretty sure it's still legal. But like Growth Spiral, Unexpected Results, I feel like that's a better way to do what we're doing here. But what we're doing here is Golos, and I think that's fine. And we lose the Cleansing Wildfire if we do that. So let's lean into that and be the Cleansing Wildfire deck that we want to be. So Paper, thank you for the deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you know of ways to improve this list, please let me know in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe while you're here. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. I'll give you a hint. It's every single day. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.